What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and today we're talking about the $300 flagship killer. Possibly. Either way, this is the N30 5G, and it's from OnePlus, and you know what? It's got a lot going on. So as I mentioned, this is a $300 smartphone, which you can pick up on OnePlus's website. And as far as the design goes, it's pretty basic. Really nothing to write home about. It's actually all plastic. The back is plastic and the frame is plastic, I believe. So there's really not a lot going on with this. Like, you're not getting any premium materials. But the thing feels solid. Like, it definitely feels solid in the hand. It just might not be passing any bend tests anytime soon, so you might want to watch out with that. We do have some giant camera modules on the back, which we'll talk about later. And overall, I mean, it's a simple, basic design. It does get fingerprinted up really easily. Like, the back thing is just so dirty after just touching it one time. It gets a whole bunch of fingerprints and gunk on it and stuff like that, so it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you could slap a case on this thing or something and be totally fine with that, but it is something to mention. I think that the design is fine. I mean, it's plastic, it is what it is. So real quick, let's just get the specs out of the way. This has the Snapdragon 695 5G processor. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's obviously not the most well-packed specifications when you compare it to other like flagship smartphones, but it's enough to run Oxygen 13, which is based on Android 13, that is running on this smartphone right here. We do have 128 gigabytes of storage on this, and wait for it, we have micro SD card expansion as well. So that's a pretty nice welcome thing to see again in a smartphone. Another welcome thing to see again in a smartphone is a headphone jack. Yes, there's an actual headphone. Remember those? There's a headphone jack on the bottom of this smartphone, which is kind of cool. So if you have regular wired headphones that you want to use, it won't be a problem. But probably the one most impressive thing about this phone is the screen. We have a 6.72-inch display. It's a full HD plus display, and it's a 120 hertz adaptive refresh rate. It is a very smooth display to be scrolling around on, and like I said, it's adaptive, so it switches between like 30, 60, 90, 120 as it needs to, depending on what you're doing. But it's a very, very smooth experience. It does have 680 nits of peak brightness as well, and you know what? This display looks fine to me. It's nice, it's colorful, it does the job, especially on a $300 smartphone, and that is kind of the theme here. So we do have a fingerprint sensor built in on the side lock button there. It's really fast. If I just set my finger on it, it unlocks the phone instantly, which is really nice. And we have some pretty loud speakers on this thing. So they're not the best sounding speakers in the world, but if you turn on music, you can put it up to what they're saying 200%, which is ultra volume mode. And this thing is pretty loud. I gotta say, I was very impressed by how loud the speakers got on it, especially for this kind of price range of a phone. So on the back side, we have those camera modules I was talking about. There's actually 3 different sensors on the back here, only one of which really matters, and I'll tell you about that in a second. We have the top sensor right here, which is the main camera, the 108 megapixel sensor with an aperture of f1.75, and you know what? The thing takes pictures. It's a camera. It's a budget smartphone, and it takes good pictures. I wasn't super disappointed by anything. I wasn't overly ecstatic about anything. It does not have optical image stabilization though, so keep that in mind. We only have electronic image stabilization on here. Now the other 2 sensors, like I said, don't really matter because one of them is a depth assist sensor for portrait mode, so I guess it matters in that case. But the other camera on here is a 2 megapixel macro camera, and I mean, I guess, okay, it's 2 megapixels. What are you gonna do? I really would have loved to see like a wide angle lens on here instead of that 2 megapixel macro camera, because I just think that's more useful for people. Another thing about the camera on the back is that the main sensor can give you a 3 times lossless zoom. So it's not optical zoom, it's just cropping in on the sensor and giving you a little bit of a zoomed in picture, which is perfectly fine. Like I said, nothing to write home about here, but I'll be sure to link a gallery to the pictures that I took with it down in the description if you want to check that out for yourself. Now, in terms of battery life, I've only been using this thing for about 48 hours, so I don't really have a good judge of things. I will tell you that it hasn't like died on me throughout the day, which is pretty good, and it does pack a 5,000 milliamp hour battery inside, so plenty of power to go around. And on top of that, we do have 50 watt Super VOOC charging, which can charge up this phone extremely fast. Like, it is definitely a nice charger that comes inside of the the box with this thing. I think that you kind of get the whole package here. Really, you get a decent camera, you get a nice looking display, we got a fingerprint sensor. I mean, really, how can you go wrong with this phone? It's $300, people, and OnePlus is doing some pretty cool things with the Nord. I'm very happy with this so far. Like I said, it's a no-frills, kind of essentials smartphone. All that being said, I would love to know what you think about the OnePlus Nord 30 5G here. That seems like a long name. All these smartphone names are getting super long. Anyway, I would love to know what you think about this phone. It's $300, and you know what? It offers a lot of things that a lot of people are gonna be totally fine with. Yeah, if you're like super nerdy into the weeds with smartphones and stuff like that, and you have to have the best of the best, this phone probably isn't for you. But for everyone else out there that wants a decent phone, runs Android, and is just very clean and easy to use, this has everything that a lot of people might need. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're new around here to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos like this drop in the near future. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Once again, this is Dom, and I'll catch you in the next video.